Thank you, Madam Chair. Discontent among airline travelers has been increasing, and it's for a good reason. While airlines are experiencing record profitability and executive salaries are getting larger and larger, the flying public is being squeezed like sardines in shrinking seats, charged unreasonable amounts of money due to increased and new ancillary fees, and faced with fewer choices as competition decreases. When it comes to unreasonable airline fees, the airlines have gone beyond imaginable levels. In 2018, fees for checked baggage and reservation changes amounted to a record $7.6 billion. That was $4.9 billion for checked baggage and $2.7 billion for reservation changes. Even worse, some airlines have recently increased these fees. The flying public is exasperated, and so is many members of this committee, and I am. As passenger levels continue to grow in the years ahead, it's imperative that we work as a committee to ensure that airline policies and practices are transparent and reasonable and not erode public consumer protection. Mr. McGee, you discussed the proliferation of these fees in your testimony. In your opinion, when you say the fees that we've gotten used to, like checked baggage and ticket changes, are growing, and how is that factoring into the consumer experience?
It's had a very negative impact for many consumers, and we don't think that the DOT complaint system is capturing that discontent. At Consumer Reports, we have the advantage of surveys with tens of thousands of readers, and when we ask them about airline service, which we do every year or two, the top of the list of complaints is fees, particularly baggage fees. It's not just that there are existing fees, but that the existing fees keep increasing. As was noted earlier, just this month, United and JetBlue raised their fees.
And that's the reason why Senator Markey asked me to introduce a bill in the House, which I was proud to do, H.R. 5195, with Chuy Garcia from Illinois and other transportation colleagues. That would be the Fair Fees Act. This bill would prohibit the charging of fees, including cancellation, change, and bag fees it would require those fees to be reasonable and proportional to the cost of the services. They could still charge them, but they'd have to be reasonable and proportional. Mr. Klein, Spirit Airlines is quite upfront about the fact that it relies on ancillary fees as part of its business model. That being said, the pricing of some of these fees is confounding. Recent search for bag fees found costs more than doubled depending on time and place of purchase. What is the rationale for charging variable baggage fees depending on when a traveler buys their ticket?
Congressman Cohen, as you mentioned, our business model highly relies on ancillary revenue. We're not shy about talking about that. What we do in our business model is make sure that we reduce the base fares, so the fares are reduced. Other airlines don't necessarily do that you're mentioning. What we do is bring the fares down so that customers that don't need to check bags or don't need to have a specific seat assignment have the ability to fly that may not otherwise be able to fly.
And I understand that and I appreciate it, but my question is, why do you charge more depending on when a traveler buys a ticket? You've got the same luggage space, you've got the same luggage. Why do you charge more if they buy their ticket at a different time?
Certainly. So what we want to make sure we do is encourage people to think about when they're making their purchase decision. We want them to get that discount by assigning the bag fee to their record when they buy their ticket up front. The standard price is if you just buy add your bag to your record whenever you want to. We want to give people a discount for adding that bag to their record at time of purchase. So
how does that affect your airline? You've got a certain space for baggage. It's not going to increase or decrease depending on when that person brings their bag and puts it on the plane. Shouldn't it be the same fee because it's the same amount of service you have to give them for that baggage space?
Yeah, well, the answer to the question is no. We disagree with that. We think it's better to give people a discount for adding their bag fee up front, because if they do that and can think about how they're thinking of their overall, to Mr. McGee's point, we want people to get the best upfront price they can. And
I have limited time, and I appreciate it. But Mr. McGee, he called on you. Do you agree with his analysis?
No, we don't. We believe that with the fee situation with the airlines, there are two problems. That's why we supported your legislation. One is the transparency. Consumers are confused by the fees. These are pages from the Spirit and United websites. You can't always determine the cost of a bag until you enter specific flight information. The other issue beyond transparency is that many of the fees are quite arbitrary, as was pointed out here in 2017 when Chairman DeFazio asked United and American, what is the cost internally of changing a ticket? and the executives were deer in the headlights. They couldn't answer it.
Thank you very much. And with Spirit Airlines, get a flight from Memphis to New Orleans. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.